Hello everyone, this is part 7 of What If Naruto Was Sealed Because He Was Too Powerful, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to see more comment down below. The prisoner corridors of Anbu headquarters. Naruto had been summoned by Tsunade during his leave from active duty and was asked to accompany Tsunade and Shizune to Anbu HQ to check out a prisoner. All Naruto was going to do was train in the Forest of Death that day anyway, so he didn't really have any problems with being called out by Tsunade, but he was somewhat confused on what he was doing there. Picking out his ear as he followed Tsunade and Shizune, Naruto finally questioned his purpose in their presence. Not that it really matters to me or anything, but what am I doing here? Why do you need me to see a prisoner? Shizune turned back with a smile and gave him his answer. A captured enemy ninja is for some reason far too weak for us to interrogate by normal means, and they happen to be too high profile to just go ahead with anyway. The info they might have could be vital to us, too vital for us to lose due to negligence. Naruto-kun. That answered part of his question but opened up a few more. So why the hell am I here again? If their body is weak, get a Yamanaka to go into their mind or something. What do you expect me to do that no one else can? I don't interrogate people, I kill people. Tsunade, Shizune, and even Tonton sweat dropped at Naruto's cavalier description of his own on-the-job skills. Tsunade got over it first, because brat, you seem to have a knack for pulling things off when it's really necessary. We can't go into her head for some reason, attempting it injured Inoki when he attempted to do so. Also, you do need to get some kind of paycheck, don't you? Or are the Suna Genin reimbursing you for all of the things they're using in your house? Naruto's face fell but swiftly pulled himself back in line with the others. Okay. So who is this prisoner? Are they dangerous? Tsunade shook her head. Not really, since as I've already said, she's very weak right now. Besides, she's totally disarmed and you've already defeated her once already. Naruto narrowed his eyes. I've only fought one person that could still be alive and possibly be imprisoned right now. What, pray tell, is the real reason you're sending me in to do this for, just so I know? Shizune smiled back at him. Tsunade-sama thinks you have quite a convincing air about you, Naruto-kun. If anyone could get this girl to talk without resorting to force, we think it could be you. Naruto sighed. Fine, but if she spits at me or does something stupid, I'm leaving right after she catches a backhand from yours truly, I swear to Kami. I should have proved my point by how I kicked her ass the last time though, so I could just be paranoid. Tsunade gave him a dry look as they made their way to the holding cells. Violent much brat. Naruto pointed to the hit I ate on his belt. My entire job revolves around varying degrees of violence, Bar-chan. If I wasn't violent, I wouldn't be so damn good at what I do. The group came across the cell that housed Naruto's mark for the day. All right. Will a guard let me out when I'm done? The two women and Pig nodded. All right, I'll see you guys when I'm done then. Tsunade nodded as Tonton oinked and Shizune waved goodbye after opening the door for him. Naruto sighed before slapping himself and putting on his game face before slinking into the cell and shutting the door behind him. He looked across the cell and ended up locking eyes with the red-haired girl sitting on a bed in the corner. Her brown eyes looked at him in curiosity, then changed to anger, and then to fear. Naruto held up his hands in a placating manner as he walked in to let her know he wasn't there to hurt her. As he looked at her appearance, she looked pale, paler than should have been healthy. Her eyes had bags underneath them, probably stemming from some kind of exhaustion, and she did look very weak, spot on with Tsunade's explanation of her condition. Naruto pulled a chair from a corner and propped it in the middle of the room, taking a seat. He looked over at her, curled up on her bed as she warily looked him over. Seeing that she wasn't going to say a word to him whatsoever, Naruto decided to get the ball rolling. Hello there, Tayuya. I haven't seen you since I knocked you out. I assume Konoha's prison system is treating you well enough. Tayuya simply kept on looking at him somewhat blankly. Naruto sighed. This was going to be a long day, he could see it already. Naruto cleared his throat, unintentionally getting her attention. So I guess you know by now that all of your team is dead. Unfortunately, Sasuke still got away, but everyone that went after him from my village is still alive. Naruto saw that little bit of news brought a smirk to her face. Ah, so that got a little something out of you, didn't it? Tayuya finally spoke. I should have known you were just for show. Kimimaro must have torn your ass a new one when you chased after him, huh? Naruto chuckled, drawing a confused look from her. Actually, I ended up fighting him until he just flat out died. I was kicking his ass if I do say so myself, I just couldn't finish him. Her eyes widened at the knowledge that Kimimaro was dead. None of your little squad made it back, and you're the only one that survived. You can thank me whenever you'd like. Tayuya glared at him. You think I should thank you, shithead? I'm as good as dead, you fucking moron. You should have just killed me on the battlefield. That would have been better than rotting away in a fucking detention cell waiting to be interrogated. She stood up from her bed suddenly. Orochimaru, the fucking snake, he pulled the plug on the cursed seal. I just know it. That's why I'm so weak for no reason right now. I'm dead to him now, worthless. Naruto noticed a dark bruise on her neck where the cursed seal used to be. You're going through some kind of withdrawal from the seal's power, aren't you? That must be painful. Tayuya laughed bitterly. It fucking sucks, shithead. I feel like death right now. I guess I knew it would end like this somehow anyway. All that snake had on your village was an element of secrecy and a shitload of pawns like me to move around. I don't see how he got everyone else in that fucking place to believe they can actually take out the strongest hidden village. I knew we were fucked back during the invasion. Naruto quirked his eyebrow. You're being awfully forthcoming with the information here. What changed from before to now? You weren't talking to anyone before this. Tayuya chuckled. Sure, if you call those misanthropic motherfuckers coming in here asking me questions that I didn't know or that I thought were too stupid to answer, talking, then no, I wasn't talking. She shook her head pitifully. After all of the probing shit they asked me stuff like what Orochimaru wanted with the Uchiha kid. Naruto cut in. They should know what. Hell, I know what he wants. That is a stupid question. She started listing things. They asked me where the main base in Ta no Kuni was. Naruto cut in again. They should know that too. I told Bar-chan that after I brought her back. What the fuck? Tayuya continued. They asked me about how to get the cursed seal off. That bitch in the trench coat and mesh bodysuit was really uppity about that one. Naruto sighed. Why the fuck would you know that? Like Orochimaru would tell you how to get his glorified slave collar off of you. He rubbed his temple. Carry on, I might have to bitch to Bar-chan about this shit later. Naruto noticed Tayuya getting livelier as they continued speaking. It was like she had loosened up or something. Naruto just kept talking to her. He didn't really have anything to do today, and he knew it had to suck being kept isolated by one's self, so why not? Naruto listened to her bitch about the cell, and the shitty food, and how she wished they would just do whatever it was they would do with her and be done with it. Naruto eventually decided to voice something that had been nagging at him for a while. So why are you talking to me? I mean, I know I came to you and everything, but I really didn't expect to get a word out of you at all. Tayuya looked at him as if she was pondering the answer herself before she shrugged. I'm caught. The snake pedophile has all but verbally declared that I'm being left for dead after he cancelled the seal. You're strong enough to beat Kimimaro by yourself, so I know you could do whatever you want with me whenever you want, and fuck Otogakure, I hate that place. Naruto pulled his chair closer to her bed. So what? Were you forced into becoming a ninja for Orochimaru and Oto? You didn't want to be a ninja. Tayuya shook her head. Not really, shithead. When I was 5, my home village in Ta no Kuni was attacked. My family and everyone else there were killed or taken prisoner. I ended up stumbling upon a group of the bastards and they caught me and made me start. As far as it went, it was either learn or die, so I went along with it. And hell, if you have to do something, why not do it all the way? I was one of Orochimaru's rising elites by the time I was 9 years old. He had already put his fucking seal on me by then. Naruto chuckled, bringing her from her story. What's so funny, shithead? Naruto looked up at her apologetically. None of it, sorry. It's just, you were one of his elites for only maybe a few months, probably by time I was caught inside of Otogakure when I was 8. That had to suck, going back and telling him that you couldn't catch me. Tayuya shivered involuntarily. You don't even know, shithead. That bastard even disciplined Kimimaro, who was his favorite little ass toy after we got back. None of us ever fucked up again after that. We were thrown together in an elite team and here I am today, the last one alive. Tayuya chuckled a little at the memory. You were kicking our asses though for the longest time, I remember. Naruto scratched his head sheepishly. I wouldn't necessarily call it fucking up. I guess you could say I was inspired to get away after Kimimaro almost took my eye. You guys chased me for 2 days. I still can't believe I got away. Ah, good times. Tayuya nodded. Anyway, yeah, like I said, fuck Orochimaru, I never wanted to work for him and he and the Uchiha can go fuck each other for all I care. Everything that I can tell you, you already know. That team played his hand close to the vest. We may have been his elite bodyguards, but Kimimaro was the only one out of all of us that really ever accompanied him anywhere outside of the base in Tano Kuni. No doubt he has more, and that one cleared out the second the Uchiha kid arrived, so it would be useless to check it out now anyway. He looked up at Tayuya seriously. So what do you think of me? We have been talking for the longest time and you don't seem to be too pissed at all about me being here. I did capture you after all. Tayuya sighed and laid down on her bed. Well, I haven't been tortured yet, unless you can call the crap they feed me as torture, so I don't have a reason to be, not at you. This is your job, shithead. Actually no, your job is to kill. So as far as I'm concerned you could have just slit my throat, left me lying in a ditch and kept moving after you beat me. You may be the reason that I'm locked up, but I wouldn't have hesitated to do the same to you if the circumstances were flipped. Naruto nodded. Well, talking to you wasn't bad at all. Your language is a little vulgar, but somehow I kind of like that. I'll see if I can come back later this week or something. I'm on medical leave after your bony buddy and me made a mess out of the landscape. Tayuya grunted in acknowledgement. Sure, shithead. You do whatever you want. It's not like they can torture me until I get over this seal crap, so I'm not going to be executed anytime soon. Naruto chuckled as he made his way to the door and gave it a knock. So I'm shithead now, huh? As an outside guard opened the door for the blonde killer's exit, Tayuya gave him a toothy grin from her bed. Yep. Later, shithead. Shaking his head with a smirk on his face, Naruto shut the cell door behind him and nodded to the guard before leaving to report to Tsunade about what he had heard and done that day. XXX. After grabbing a short lunch at Ichiraku's, Naruto returned to the Hokage tower to find Tsunade asleep on her desk. As he entered through the window he saw her face down on her desk, paperwork stacked neatly to the side. Naruto took a second to pick up a sheet from the top and give it a once-over. It was an order form from the Anbu trying to get restocked. Naruto's eyes widened once he got to the part that listed the material their kunai were made from. Man, Anbu get all of the good stuff. He placed the sheet back down and took a seat a distance away from the desk before making a kage bunshin and sending it over to her desk. The replication looked back at Naruto with a pitiful look. Do I have to? Why can't you do it? Naruto shrugged. Okay, I'll do it. The kage bunshin smiled until the original Naruto pulled an elastic from his pocket and shot it at Tsunade from across the room, hitting her right on the ear. Before he could even yell in fear at his creator, the bunshin was dispelled by a nasty right hand from the still sluggish Tsunade, who slowly focused her eyes on Naruto, who was waving from across the room. She blinked and allowed her eyes to focus. Brat. How long have you been here? Yawn. What woke me up? Naruto grinned as he moved closer and sat in front of her desk. A mosquito bar-chan. You scared the hell out of me just snapping up like that and throwing that punch. She rubbed her eyes. It felt like I hit something solid. Anyway, I assume that you're coming back from speaking with Tayuya. How did it go? He looked down at the ground. Well, she doesn't know anything that I didn't already tell you right after we got back from Tanzakugai. For being an elite, Orochimaru doesn't tell many of his own very much. She is going through symptoms from the sudden loss of the cursed seal. I guess either you or Shizune-chan are responsible for her not being dead from it flat out. Tsunade nodded. It basically poisoned her system and put her into cardiac arrest a few hours after her arrival here. It was touch and go for a while, but she's still too weak to interrogate regularly, or else we risk killing her. Naruto scratched his head sheepishly. About the whole killing her thing, you think we can keep her alive? I know that she's an Oto ninja and everything, but after all of the stuff she told me, I'm sure that given the option to live somewhere like this as opposed to there, she'd take it in a heartbeat, especially now. Tsunade gave Naruto a chiding look. How do you know she wasn't lying to you, brat? She is an enemy ninja. In return, Naruto gave Tsunade a dry look. Who do you think I am? I can tell when lies are being told to me. Not only did she not lie to me, she told me everything that I asked for, even the things that I didn't ask about. A grin then appeared on his face. Besides, I like that attitude of hers. There's nothing wrong with a rose having a few thorns every now and then. Tsunade snorted with an amused look on her face. So you think the girl is good looking? Are you sure you're not any closer to Jiraiya, because you're thinking kind of like him right now? Naruto laughed and propped his feet up on her desk. Well, she'll be much better when she gets over the cursed seal backlash. And don't ever say that again. I'm no massive pervert, I'm just a boy beginning to enter adulthood and I have no problems admiring the female form from time to time. What's the difference, brat? Tsunade asked him with a raised eyebrow. It all sounds the same to me. Naruto tapped his head with his finger. Oh, but it isn't. A pervert will go out of his way to do things like that. Like peek on hot springs or write their own pervert books to get off. I, on the other hand, do none of those things. However, if a blatant opportunity to admire the opposite sex arises, I have absolutely no qualms about taking full advantage. Isn't that what ninja are trained to do anyway? Tsunade's sweat dropped. Did you just admit to me that you were a pervert? Naruto stiffened up and slammed his hands on her desk. Hell no. The entire point of that tirade was to defend why I wasn't a pervert. Are you sure you're not closer to Ero Sennin, because your mind shot to the pervert possibility pretty quickly? The two glared at one another until they both broke out in laughter. Tsunade and Naruto calmed down as she fished an envelope from her desk and passed it to Naruto. Here you go, brat, you'll pay for a B-rank mission. Use it wisely. Naruto took the envelope with a wary look on his face. B-rank. All I did was talk to Tayuya. It wasn't even hard or anything, it wasn't unpleasant at all. Hell, I think I brightened the girl's day up just by talking to her. I'm going back later this week. Tsunade quirked an eyebrow as Naruto placed the envelope in his pocket. You're going back. Why would you do that for? Naruto shrugged as he stood and made his way to the window. I don't know. Being all alone like that really sucks. She's not really a bad person, she was just a ninja for the wrong nation, it's no real reason to want to hate her. As Naruto went to jump out of the window, Tsunade clearing her throat got him to pause and turn. An evil smirk was on her face that sent a chill down his spine. Brat, I hope you don't think you really got away with that elastic crap. She held up the offending band and placed it around her wrist. You're lucky that you're supposed to be on medical leave right now. Just remember that. Naruto nodded slowly and jumped from the ledge, shivering slightly when he heard her chuckling evilly behind his back. XXX after cashing his check and buying groceries for his depleted supplies, which was not too hard when compared to previous times he did so. When on this occasion he said that for every dollar over the average that he was charged he was going to break his foot off in the grocer's ass. The house guests that would not seem to leave apparently seemed stoked to be receiving the abundance of food. Anyway, he decided to try and get his body back into a steady condition, seeing as how he had all but fully healed from his previous injuries. And he knew no better way to get his body used to hostile environments than to head into Training Ground 44, because the Forest of Death was as close to a near-death situation as he was going to get until he got an active combat mission. Upon entering, Naruto took it upon himself to fuck with every species of wild animal he could find, from packs of wolves, to birds of prey, hell he even tried provoking a bear. Although he did keep from going too far, like into the restricted northeast corner where all of the truly horrible things were, mostly because fighting a slew of big-ass man-eating spiders and tigers twice his size was something he felt like holding back on at the moment. He had just gotten out of the hospital, thank you, let alone the morgue. So he had been jumping through the woods, getting some exercise and generally running amok amongst the wildlife to satiate his innate desire to generally cause havoc in an unrestricted environment to get his legs back under him. Landing on the forest floor to take a short breather, a small burst of killing intent was his only warning before a kunai passed by his face, cutting his cheek to bring about a strange feeling of deja vu. He dabbed his cheek and sighed. Anko-chan. Come on out. Anko stepped out with a kunai in her grasp and a look of anger on her face. Don't Anko-chan me gaki. I know you interrogated that Oto Kunoiki today, I also know that you didn't even bother asking anything about the cursed seal. Or more specifically, how to get it off of me like it was for her. Naruto was immediately put on the defensive as Anko came in attacking. He was forced to dodge the striking attempts from her kunai while trying to calm her down. Anko, calm down. You're being stupid. Anko caught him in the body with a hard kick that sent him flying backwards into the trunk of a tree. Why did you just let that question slide? That damned snake still has his seal on me. He left her for dead and took hers off. Naruto growled as he stood back up. If you would calm the fuck down, I could explain everything to you now. Unless you still want to vent your useless anger on me, in which case I will be hitting you back. Anko chuckled, I know I saw you run through those genin back during test of yours, but I'm still quite a bit out of your reach, my dear Gaki. Naruto shook his head, I know you know about the retrieval mission, so I have to ask you, what the hell makes you think I can't beat the shit out of you, Anko? Why would you try this on me? You can't scare me, I did nothing to you, and any threat that you even try following through on, I'll make you pay for it myself, fuck disciplinary measures. Anko narrowed her eyes at him. All right then Gaki, I was about to sit and listen to what you had to say, but now I think I'll rough you up a bit just out of principle. Naruto slid into a stance, don't think it will be that easy. Of course I should thank you though, the wolves and the bears were getting kind of easy to take down. You should be able to get the old blood pumping. Anko licked her kunai, I'll get your blood flowing Gaki. She then threw the kunai at Naruto and headed in to engage him up close her taijutsu. Anko took quick, precise jabbing thrusts at Naruto that he was forced to parry or suffer due to the nature of her attacks. Anko went for the least guarded areas on his body, aiming at his neck, his eyes, even his groin. He really didn't like that last one, as evidenced by the return kick he gave her right back in the same area after one of Anko's attacks landed low. Both broke off, holding themselves below the belt, doubled over in pain. What the hell Gaki, you don't hit a lady there. Cough, what's wrong with you? Naruto backed away, inhaling sharply, you punched me in my junk. It was a reflex, and besides, just because you're a girl I'm supposed to hold back. It's not like you women ever guard that spot in a fight anyway, so why the hell not? It's open. Anko growled at him and thrusted her arm out, Senjutsu hidden shadow snake hands. As a mass of snakes flew from Anko's sleeve at Naruto, he reached for the sword on his back only to pull out his broken ninjato. Naruto's sweat dropped just as the snakes hit him dead on and constricted around him. Anko's face took on a victorious look as she loomed over him. All right Gaki, playtime is over. If you try to move, these snakes will bite you, and they are poisonous. She then pulled out another kunai, now that you're all tied up, we're going to have our little discussion about what exactly you need to ask about next time you see that Oto girl. Naruto looked at his scaly bindings and chuckled, this is all you've got. I'm immune to all of the stuff that your snakes could have. Naruto had already built up an immunity to certain poisons as a precautionary measure before his mission to Otogakure years ago. All of the snakes from the jutsu Anko just used were among the first poisons that he ended up getting over. He began shifting around and, true to her threat, Anko's snakes bit into him. She gasped, she didn't mean to kill the brat, just rough him up a bit. That gasp soon turned to another as he broke the snake's hold on him. Upon standing, he looked at Anko's slack-jawed face. What? It's not like they were constrictors or anything. It wasn't too hard. He then decided to engage Anko instead of waiting this time. As he ran in, Anko smirked confidently. The kid wasn't even trying to work angles. The sound of something coming into their plane of existence signified that he had made Kage Bunshin during his push forward. As the Naruto in front of her tried to keep the bulk of her attention occupied, the Kage Bunshin he had created were flying around her trying to pick their shots. Anko did her best to trade strikes with the real Naruto and avoid attacks from the clones, but like she already knew, he was ridiculously fast for someone his age, and when he made contact, like the real one did right in her body with his fist, when the kid hit, it hurt. No 13-year-old kid should hit that hard. The one punch from Naruto would have sent Anko flying, had he not grabbed a hold of her arm and pulled her back roughly. She almost wished that he had let her fly backwards, as when he pulled her forward he smashed her in the ribs with a knee before stepping out of the way for one of his clones to drop a flying kick from behind on the back of her head. Anko was sent sprawling forward onto the ground and quickly made her way back to her feet to see all of Naruto's clones crouched in front of the real one, ready to react. Naruto crossed his arms and stared out at the purple-haired snake summoner. Are we done, Anko? Or do we keep going? Because unlike you, I have absolutely nowhere to be for the rest of the day. Anko gritted her teeth and tossed a kunai right through the Bunshin wall to hit the Naruto within, only to watch it go up in smoke. As all of the Bunshin dispersed, Naruto's disembodied voice rang out from the trees. Now that wasn't nice, Anko, I just wanted to talk. You want to know why I didn't ask about your cursed seal, right? She looked around rapidly for any sign of the scarred blonde. Yes. Why didn't you? If she could get hers off, even unwillingly, then I Naruto cut her off, because she doesn't know anything about it except how to use it. And Orochimaru may be a genius with ninjutsu, but he's not as good with fuinjutsu as you think he is. Why do you think he tested his seal on you and didn't just put it on himself? The detriments were too great. He didn't even research a way to take it off of a recipient until he came up with the seals for the Sound 4, Kimimaro, and Sasuke. He can't remotely deactivate yours like he can for the others because yours was made before he was any damn good at making them. There's a reason yours is the first. Anko shut her eyes tightly, so there's really no way to get it off of me. I didn't say that. Anko's head snapped up with that nugget of news. You know how to do it. How? A sigh came from her surroundings. I don't know yet. I'm starting to get into fuinjutsu and every seal can be broken from what I've read. There's just a trick to them all. Orochimaru has something that I need in order to get a good read on what to do with your seal. I have a question though, has anyone ever put Fujahu, an evil sealing method, on you? Anko blinked, forcing another sigh out of Naruto. Goddamn it, what is wrong with this village? Alright, find Kakashi or something and ask him to place it on you. It should help at the very least until I can think of what to do with it. It could take me years to find out how to break your seal. Anko turned around as Naruto came striding out of the brush. Wait, that didn't work. The Uchiha brat had that on him and it broke. Naruto snorted. That's because his dumb ass was the one who broke it. The seal is dependent on the will of the recipient. He wanted to use the seal, you don't. It's that simple. He got drunk off of the power boost and called upon it. You just want the damn thing off. The fact that your model is shoddy when compared to the others means that he can't slip subliminal messages through to you to influence you either. Naruto turned to leave when Anko called out to him, wait Gaki. How do you know so much about these seals? The Uchiha is the only person you knew that had one and he didn't know a thing about it. Naruto turned back with a smile. That is a secret. Some things should just stay buried in some instances, Anko. You'll never find out why because only 4 people alive in this village know, and they aren't very talkative on the matter. One might be, but you have to narrow down who it is first. Later, Naruto then proceeded to shunshin out of the area, leaving Anko alone. XXX Naruto slinked back into his apartment later that afternoon before flopping face first on his couch, much to the amusement of the Suna kids, who were still there. Kankuro snorted in laughter as he saw Naruto's disheveled form collapse on his couch. Long day, kid. Naruto rolled over and gave him a dry stare. Why are you still here? It's been a week. He picked himself up into a sitting position on the couch. And where the hell are Gaara and Temari? Kankuro opened a bag of chips from Naruto's freshly purchased groceries and sat on another couch. I don't know. Temari said she was going shopping and Gaara left to go do Gaara stuff. Naruto nodded as he was facing the TV before something clicked. Wait, shopping? How can you shop without enough money to even get a place to stay? Kankuro was sweating bullets after Naruto noticed his mistake. We finally got paid by your village for helping out with the retrieval mission. Please buy it. Please buy it. Please buy it. A hard stare was kept on Kankuro for a moment before Naruto relented. Fine, whatever. But if you bastards are going to keep staying here, you're going to start paying for your own stuff. Why are you still here? Answer me. Kankuro crunched on a few chips and passed the bag to Naruto, who readily took a few for himself. It's one of the conditions of our treaty with your village. We must lend out a genin team to help with manpower issues, and we ended up being the selected team since we're already here anyway. Naruto rolled the bag up and stood to head back towards the cabinet he remembered placing them in at first. All right, you guys can stay here for as long as you like. The company isn't that bad and my roommate is cute. Things could have been worse, all things considered. Kankuro shook his head amusedly. You starting to dig my sister Uzumaki? You'd better watch yourself, kid. Don't overstep yourself on this one. A chuckle came from Naruto as he sat back down. I hope you're not threatening me like Gaara did in Suna. I'm just saying, she's hot, and she's sleeping with me in my bed. To just straight jump from having no visitors in your house for years to having Sabaku no Temari sleeping in your bed, it's definitely a noteworthy step up for some random orphan kid. Kankuro nodded. I wasn't really threatening you, kid. I'm sure Gaara handled that already. He's been getting protective over her lately. It's kind of funny to see. Before they could continue, a knock came at Naruto's door. Naruto rose to greet whoever it was before narrowing his eyes upon discovering the identity of the person filling his door frame, Ero Sennin. Jiraiya gave Naruto a serious look. Naruto, I need to speak with you. Can we go somewhere? Naruto turned to head back inside and returned to his seat on the couch. I just got home after a few hours in the forest of death. I just got groceries. I'm hungry and tired. I'm not going anywhere. You can tell me here. Jiraiya sighed and walked inside. You mind if I had a seat myself? Naruto simply pointed to an open chair and sat down, Kankuro and Naruto looking at him. Kankuro thumped Naruto on his shoulder and whispered to him, You know Jiraiya of the Sannin. Kid, who the hell are you? Naruto brushed the older puppeteer off of his shoulder and let Jiraiya get settled before he spoke. All right, Ero Sennin, what do you want with me? I thought I told you that the only thing keeping me from actively pursuing your head was that you're too elite for me to try to kill and that you're too useful to Konoha. Jiraiya frowned. I know that, Gaki, but there are some things that you need to know. Orochimaru didn't take Sasuke's body, he had to take a different one before he could arrive and now has to wait 3 years before he can try again. Naruto nodded. At least something decent came out of that mission, so 3 years to find the snake and kill him and his vessel before things go to shit. It's almost easy. Jiraiya had to chuckle at how Naruto narrowed down the situation. Well, not only that, but do you remember Itachi and his blue buddy from a while back? Naruto nodded. It's kind of hard to forget meeting and fighting Itachi Uchiha, the group that they happen to be a part of, Akatsuki. They have also ceased operations for the time being, just about the same time frame as Orochimaru. Naruto let out a short laugh. Well, I don't really give a damn about the Orochimaru thing, I just care for the sake of the fact that I'm going to be involved somehow, but the Akatsuki thing, hey, if they want me I should tell Gaara too, they'll probably try something on him as well, right? Jiraiya nodded. About you though. I want to take you on a training trip to get you ready for what is to come. You need to be ready to take down S-rank level ninja within 3 years' time. Kankuro's eyes widened as he again turned to Naruto. Kid, who the hell are you? Who deals with this kind of crap and doesn't even flinch? He points out at Jiraiya. He's sitting here telling you a group of S-rank criminals are after your head and you just shrug like it happens every day. Naruto looked at Kankuro and shrugged. Meh, if you start every single day expecting the worst you can only be pleasantly surprised. Jiraiya and Kankuro's sweat dropped as the older man spoke up. That's pretty morbid, Gaki. Naruto snapped icy blue eyes back onto Jiraiya. I'm sorry, I guess the day before you found me I should have been thinking that someone like you would just let me be or at least let me wake up before you took drastic measures. Jiraiya looked at the ground. Damn it, kid, how long are you going to hold that over my head? I know it was a mistake, I knew it the entire time it was happening, but it was an order, if nothing else you can at least understand that, right? Naruto sucked on his teeth. Yeah, if it was something that ended up being for the greater good I probably would understand and accept it, even though you never tried to get my side of the story before you made me into a retarded 4-year-old version of my 8-year-old body, locking all of my hard-earned skills, strength, and speed away into the depths of my mind. But nothing good came from what you guys did to me. Jiraiya stood to leave when Naruto stopped him one more time at the door. Wait. Jiraiya turned to face him only to see the same stone gaze on his face. During the Chunin exams, when I found you, did you agree to train me because of the reason you said, or was it because you remembered what you did and wanted to remedy it if only a little? Naruto didn't let him answer. I'm going out, Kankuro, I'll be back later tonight, tell the others. Naruto then utilized Shunshin to exit the premises. Jiraiya sighed deeply and followed suit, leaving Kankuro alone in Naruto's apartment. Wait. What the hell just happened? XXX 2 days later, so what's eating you, shithead? Tayuya shuffled the deck of cards that Naruto had brought to pass the time. She looked way better now than she did 2 days ago, her skin had gotten its color back and she looked like she had finally gotten some good sleep for once. Naruto sighed. He had come to talk to her because he actually enjoyed her company and she could give him an unbiased opinion on things, being that she didn't know anyone in the village other than him, and that was only a little bit. They were seated on the floor due to a lack of table in her cell. Due to the fact that she regularly talked freely to Naruto, she had not been tortured, nor was it seemingly on the horizon as long as Naruto reported to Tsunade what they talked about afterwards. What if the guy that had a hand in screwing your life up was trying to make amends to you, but the wounds were still fresh? Naruto took the 7 cards that Tayuya dealt him. Take them back and reshuffle, I saw that. Get the cards out of your sleeve. Tayuya cursed and brought some chuckles out from Naruto. Well shithead, I would just say either kill him and be done with it, or suck it up and get over it. You can't bitch about it forever, that isn't healthy. Naruto looked at her as he took the cards that she redealt. Why am I shithead again? Tayuya smirked as she drew a card from the top of the pile. Because you act like a shithead, therefore you a shithead. There's no way I'm calling you your real name, Fishcake. Naruto watched her place a card down in the pile and took to drawing his own card. Sure, Tayuya. I guess I'm shithead then. So you think I should just get over it, just like that? Tayuya nodded as she looked over her cards. Yeah, I mean is being angry at whoever it is you're talking about actually doing anything for you? Naruto grinned as he finally threw down a card. Yeah, it makes me feel a hell of a lot better about being me, that's for sure. Tayuya flicked a discarded card at Naruto's head, catching him flush in the face. I mean, is it doing anything practical for you? Obviously not if that was the first thing that you told me. You told me it was an order from the last Hokage. No one is stupid enough to go against their superior's word, especially someone that high up in the food chain. You got sealed, I understand. If it was me, I would have killed him, but you're apparently nicer than that, and holding grudges really doesn't seem like your kind of thing. Naruto grunted as he picked up a card from the discard pile and switched it with his own before laying down a spread of 3 of his own cards. Fine, I'll try. I guess he isn't going to leave me alone now after what he just told me the other day, so at least tolerating him would be in my best interest. Especially since I can't just beat his ass to make myself feel better, he's still out of my league. As Tayuya dropped another card, Naruto smiled while picking it up and laid the rest of his cards down. I win, Tayuya-chan. The aforementioned girl raised an eyebrow at him curiously. Tayuya-chan. Since when am I a fucking chan? Naruto gathered up the cards and remade the deck before standing to exit. Since I became shithead. Take care, Tayuya-chan, I'll see you soon. Stay cooperative and I'll see what I can do for you. Tayuya flipped him off. Fuck that Tayuya-chan shit. And fuck cooperating too. Naruto shook his finger at her at the door. So you say, and yet you're as docile as a lamb from what I've heard and seen. Naruto quickly left the scene just as Tayuya started shouting at him, get me out of here and I'll show you how fucking docile I am, shithead. Naruto shut the door behind him, chuckling the entire time and faced the ninja guarding the door. She's a little playful today. Take care when it's time to give her dinner. The man snorted and chuckled along with Naruto as the blonde in question made his way out of the building. You are one ballsy kid. XXX. As he made his way to Tsunde's office, he entered to find Shikamaru inside as well. What's up, Shikamaru? How have you been? Shikamaru gave Naruto a small smile. I've been good, Naruto. Things are about to get troublesome again soon. I've got a mission to go get ready for. I'll see you around. Naruto gave him a short wave as the lazy Chunin walked out. Don't work too hard, Shikamaru. As he left, he went to sit down by Tsunde. How have you been, Bar-chan? After the obligatory inanimate object was winged at Naruto's head and the two settled back down, Tsunde smiled at him. I'm fine, brat. Now Jiraiya came to me about something because he never found you to get your answer last night. He wants to know whether or not he can get you to go on a training trip with him. Naruto sat still, pondering for a moment. No, I won't just cut and run now. I agree that I need to train myself to get ready for Akatsuki, but I don't have to go anywhere to do it. I don't get what his reasoning for leaving would be for me. He said it himself that Akatsuki aren't coming for me for a few years, so it's not a matter of village security. If he thinks it's because I need to work on using the Kyuubi's chakra, I can do that here. I've been doing it well enough so far and it hasn't affected anyone around here yet. Hell, I go to the Forest of Death to train for that, so there's no issues there. Brat, Jiraiya can't stick around to train you himself for all of the 3 years. He has his own responsibilities to keep to elsewhere. You know about his spy network. Taking you with him would kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Tsunde tried to reason. Naruto shook his head. No, he either wouldn't focus on one or the other. If I stay here, he can give me stuff to work on and let me train, then drop in when he's in Konoha to see how I'm doing. That might make for a more productive schedule for me than simply being on the road. It's kind of hard to train when you never stay in one place for too long. Besides, You still need someone like me to help out with your mission load, and I still want my promotion too. I'm not putting my career on hold for 3 years. Tsunade looked at him, thinking about what he was saying. Are you sure you're not just still upset with Jiraiya? Naruto, the man is sorry for what he did. I know that he messed you up badly, but carrying a grudge like that cannot be good for your state of mind. Naruto waved her off. I'm still pretty pissed off, but I'm not going to go Uchiha team on him over the whole thing. It'll take a while, but at the very least I can try and let him back in. He seemed to genuinely want to train me when we were looking for you. He's trying to make up for it at least. Tell him everything that I just told you. I'll see you later, Bar-chan. Much to Tsunade's chagrin, before she could stop him, Naruto shunshined out of the room, making a mess out of the papers on her desk. Damn you, brat. She turned her attention to one of the corners. Did you get all of that, you pervert? Jiraiya dropped his transparency jutsu and walked over. At least he's out of the outright animosity phase. I'm kind of upset that he doesn't want to travel with me, but after how he just broke it down, I have to say he has a point. He was so convincing. I think he may be mature enough to know about his family. He's a chunin now anyway. Isn't that the level Minato wanted him to be before he was told? Tsunade nodded. Are you sure? Telling him might just piss him off even more at you. Jiraiya sighed and looked out the window. I hope he sees it as something that was necessary to hide. If he's still upset, then I'll deal with it, but the kid still deserves to know at this point. I'll tell him when I get a chance, maybe before I leave. As Jiraiya walked away, he never noticed the figure sitting on a ledge under the window. Naruto scratched his familiar blonde hair as he heard Jiraiya and Tsunade leave the room after shutting the window. So my old man's name is Minato. I wonder how many Minatos lived in Konoha before the Kyuubi attack. Sitting in the middle of a heavily wooded area of the Forest of Death, Naruto sat in lotus position with his eyes shut, simply thinking and calming himself with the sounds of the woodland area. It had been right around a week, and Naruto had been wondering how he could find out anything about any Minato that was in Konoha without tipping off Jiraiya or Tsunade, since apparently it was all one big secret. He figured Jiraiya would eventually tell him. He would just procrastinate endlessly beforehand, and that could take months to years. He needed information now, and since he was damn sure that Kakashi was on the take in this little secret against him, he wasn't going to him, and he still couldn't find Danzo. Damn it, not that he was still looking, he had quit trying months ago. It was obvious that this Minato guy was pretty influential in his day, but Naruto was never taught anything that wasn't truly relevant to challenges he would actually face while he was en route, so that didn't help much. And after his sealing, his time in the academy was spent with many teachers refraining from helping or really teaching him, so eventually he started cutting classes and not paying attention to Iruka-sensei. Iruka-sensei. That was it. He wasn't old enough to really know anything on the scale of this cover-up, and he wasn't close to anyone that was trying to keep it buried. He had enough of the general knowledge in Konoha that he could answer his questions, and he was damnably easy to find at this time of the day. He would either be in class, or if school was out, he would be assigning missions at HQ. When did that man find time to train? Shrugging these thoughts aside, Naruto broke from his meditation in the Forest of Death and began to make his way to the academy to find his old schoolteacher. XXX. Inside one of the classrooms of the academy, a chunin with a scar across his face turned from the blackboard to face his room full of young students. Now who can tell me the order of ranking in Konoha's ninja system? Near the back, Udon's hand shot up as he started to answer with a sniffle. Iruka-sensei, it goes Genin, Chunin, Junin, Kage. Iruka nodded. Very good, but what about Anbu? A little dark-haired girl with the telltale eyes of a Hyuga raised her hand to answer next. Anbu are drafted from any ranking depending on their skill level and amount of potential, although their identities are kept secret for the most part. A ninja of any ranking can be Anbu, but they are usually drafted from the level of Chunin and up. Iruka smiled gently at the girl. Good answer, Hanabi. Now next He was interrupted by the abrupt sliding noise indicating the opening of the lower door, and a mop of spiky blonde hair poked through the doorway. Naruto's eyes scanned the room momentarily before settling on Iruka. Giving the man an old-school foxy grin just because he could, Naruto stepped into class with no further ado. He looked at the kids in the class and noticed near the back that Mogi and Udon were trying to shake Konohamaru awake to tell him he was there. Getting back to the matter at hand, he focused on Iruka. Iruka-sensei, can you help me out really quickly? You don't even have to leave, it's just a question. Iruka sighed. You crashed my class, Naruto. What do you have to say for yourself? Shrugging, he simply stated, I've done stuff way worse that just crash your class, Iruka-sensei. Or have you forgotten? Maybe I can give some aspiring delinquents some base ideas. Boss. Naruto simply waved at Konohamaru with a massive grin on his face. Hey Konohamaru. He turned back to Iruka and whispered to him, I think he'll do just fine with a little inspiration, don't you? Iruka palmed his face, please don't make an army of pranking underlings, Naruto. I had enough problems with just you, and now you're all souped up and super strong now, which can only make matters worse. I can only imagine what any new apprentice would come out like. You can go ahead and ask your question, I'll see if I can help, but only if you help me beforehand. Because you had to interrupt my lesson, I need a favor from you. Nodding in agreement, Naruto scratched his chin. Fine, go ahead and tell me what you need, Iruka-sensei. I'm in no real hurry, I'm on medical leave and needed something to do today anyway. Good, by the way, I'd still like to hear about what you did on that last mission if you don't mind later. Iruka smiled at Naruto and turned around to the class. Alright kids, today I'm going to give you all a little treat. I'm going to break off from the lecturing for today and give you all a chance to ask questions to an active Konoha shinobi. The children in the class started buzzing over talking to a real shinobi that wasn't Iruka. Naruto blinked in surprise. Iruka-sensei, are there any questions that I can't answer? Iruka shook his head. No Naruto, this is for their benefit so they can ask whatever they want. That isn't a problem, is it? Naruto shook his head and Iruka turned back to the class. Okay, today we have Naruto Uzumaki here to speak with you. This was an on-the-fly kind of thing, so let's go with it. Naruto moved to Iruka's desk and sat down on it while he overlooked the classroom. Alright, none of you know me or have ever even spoken to me, except Konohamaru, Udon, and Mogi. Raise your hands and I'll call on anyone with a question. As hands shot up all over the room, he saw a little brown-haired girl near the front and pointed to her. You, shoot. She lowered her hand and smiled nervously. Uzumaki-san, I know that there are ninja that specialize in certain things like taijutsu, or genjutsu, or things like that. What kind of ninja would you say you are? Naruto took a moment to ponder the question. I specialize in killing my opponent. Ignoring Iruka slapping a palm over his face again, he elaborated. I don't know any genjutsu, just how to dispel even the toughest ones if I ever come across any. I'm very good at taijutsu, but I know people that are way better at pure hand-to-hand combat than me. I would say that I'm a ninjutsu specialist, but I'm still learning a lot of tougher ones. I'm decent at kenjutsu, but not as good as I would like to be. As I've learned recently, I'm very good at stealth techniques, but I can't really utilize that skill with my current rank yet. He shrugged his shoulders at her question. I don't specialize in any single facet of being a ninja, but I'm at the very least passable in all of them. If your aim is to be a powerful shinobi, you should all keep that kind of mindset. Over-specialization can get you killed. I know at least 2 Junin that I can beat right now, because if I neutralize what it is that they're best at, they can't beat me. Specializing isn't really a bad thing, just make sure that everything else is at least up to snuff. Iruka's eyes widened as he heard Naruto's explanation of his skills. He was about to tell him to be serious about the situation, but as he watched Naruto's facial motions and how he spoke, he realized that he was telling the absolute truth. This wasn't empty boasting, it was a tested fact as far as Naruto was concerned. I've heard he was that good from others, but is it really that true? The kids raised their hands again, and this time Naruto pointed to a boy with close-cut hair. When is the last time that you killed someone, Uzumaki-san? Naruto scratched his chin. 2 weeks ago on my last mission I killed like 3 people. Well, 2 people, one of them just died in the middle of the fight, I didn't finish him. Next question. Udon raised his hand and Naruto nodded to him. Why do you call Iruka-sensei, sensei boss? Naruto smirked. When I graduated, Iruka was my instructor, therefore he is my sensei. He's the only man that I call sensei because he's the only one that taught me anything. Not even my Junin sensei really taught me anything. Well, he's the only one that ever taught me anything that you all need to know about. He pointed to a boy with Inuzuka face markings. The boy gave him a wild grin. Your turn, kid. How many years have you been a ninja? Naruto blinked at his question. Longer than you've been alive, you little bastard. Yeah, he wished he could say that out loud. I'm just starting my 2nd year, I graduated last year. I know Iruka-sensei remembers that little event. Iruka nodded with a grin. The boy asked another question. Why is the sheath on your back empty? You two broke to afford a sword? His question got a series of laughs from the people around him. Naruto glared at the kid. When you use a sword to attempt to cut grown men in half, it sometimes gets broken in the line of duty. In which case you then have to get it fixed, you little motherfucker. It's in the shop. I'd be glad to introduce you to the sharp end of it when I get it back. Shit, Naruto. Stop cursing in my classroom before I kick you out. Iruka fumed at him. Naruto turned to Iruka with a fake angry look. Iruka-sensei, you can't say shit in front of the students. What the fuck? Naruto chuckled while Iruka was sputtering nonsense and pointed up to Konohamaru, who he had intentionally been ignoring to piss him off. Ah, little kids are so easy to annoy. Go ahead, Konohamaru. Konohamaru's little glare was a thing of the past as he gave Naruto a toothy grin. Why didn't you tell me you got promoted, boss? I only found out the other day when I saw your pink-haired teammate. Naruto shrugged. You didn't need to know, kid. Would it have changed anything? I've been a chunin for a while now. Liar. Naruto turned his head towards the little Hyuga girl from before. And why are you calling me a liar? Naruto started in an effort to feel out her name. Hanabi. The girl stated matter-of-factly, and I'm calling you a liar because I saw you fight during the chunin exams and you didn't get promoted from that. No one did. Not even Neji. Naruto smirked at her, and you know this because you personally saw me drop the hammer on Neji firsthand, right? Naruto ignored Iruka's comment on language. There was another test a while after the chunin exams, and after that me and Shikamaru Nara got promoted. She didn't falter. Then where's your chunin vest? You get a vest upon promotion. Naruto shook his head. You do, but I don't like that bulky piece of crap, so I don't wear it. It's not a necessity to wear it like it is for your Hittite, so I don't wear it at all. Others do it mostly because they care about people thinking they're elite, or they like the extra padding. Any other questions on my rank or integrity? Because I can keep this up all day until one of you steps on a nerve. Come on, I've got unlimited free time and a whole can of whoop-ass. Who wants to set me off? Iruka's sweat dropped and decided to intervene before one of these kids ended up getting strangled by a rabid blonde kid. Okay everyone, that's enough for today. Now Naruto, what was your question that you needed to ask? Naruto hopped off of Iruka's desk. Iruka-sensei, how many people named Minato do you know in Konoha, and who would you say is the most famous one? Also, could you tell me if he had any kind of relationship with Jiraiya of the Sannin? Iruka gave Naruto a dumb look. I thought he was your hero when you were in school. That's what you told me the night before you graduated. Naruto gave him a deadpan look. I have made concerted efforts to attempt to mentally block out any and all dumbass remarks I ended up making while in the academy. Needless to say, due to the potential of overlapping layers of stupidity, there was some mental fratricide. I don't remember. Iruka raised his eyebrow. You said it was the Yondaime Hokage. Naruto's eyes brightened in understanding. Ah, so I did. Iruka gave Naruto a dry look in return. Naruto, that's the Yondaime's name. Minato Namikaze. He was trained by Jiraiya. He summoned toads. He beat the Kyuubi. And now he's dead and I'm not. Kyuubi 1, Minato Namikaze 0, oh yeah. Naruto ignored the Kyuubi and pieced together everything he just heard. Iruka just looked at Naruto, who was staring out into space with a blank look on his face. Konohamaru stood up in concern. What's wrong with Naruto-Nisan? Hanabi smirked smugly. Maybe his tiny brain fried because he learned something new today. Life came into Naruto's eyes as they snapped over to her. He started marching towards the door, radiating killing intent and cracking his knuckles. All right, everyone outside to the practice field. Who wants to spar with a real-life ninja? Let's go. Iruka moved to intercept him before he could leave. I'm Naruto. We don't spar until Friday, and you're not a student. He whipped around with a sadistic gleam in his eye. I need to vent a lot of frustration and pent-up aggression right now. The sooner kids are gone, so I can't just beat the crap out of Gaara's sand until I get tired or feel better, and your room full of chibi trainees are the only thing within reaching distance, so either I put the hurt on them, or I put the hurt on you, Iruka-sensei. XXX 3 hours later, Naruto sat tied up to a wooden chair in Tsunde's office with 3 Anbu standing around him keeping watch. Oh come on. I wasn't gonna put them in the hospital or anything. I just wanted to blow off some steam. Tsunade stood from her desk and nailed him in the head. After his head snapped down from the impact, he let it sit for a moment before Naruto looked up and grinned at her. Didn't hurt. Tsunade cracked her knuckles and drilled him straight in the face. flipping the chair over and breaking it on the ground, loosening his restraints. Naruto looked up at the ceiling and tried to regain his bearings. Ugh, that chair was bolted to the floor, Bar-chan. He rolled over and spit out a tooth. Looking up at the Anbu, he shrugged and placed it in one of their hands. It'll grow back. Tsunade wiped off her bloody fist and sat back down at her desk. What the hell is wrong with you, brat? You beat up an entire class of academy students. Who does that? Naruto stood up and dusted himself off. In my defense, I let them all come at me at once, and I tied one hand behind my back. Consider it a teamwork exercise. Give them all extra credit grades, tell their parents it was sanctioned, everybody wins. Tsunade snorted, you're going to catch some flack for this, kid. What were you thinking? Naruto looked around at the Anbu still in her office. You mind sending these guys out? This is kind of sensitive information. Tsunade gave him a look that said, are you kidding? Well, okay, I mean, I was under the impression that Minato Namikaze was important. Tsunade's eyes widened and she quickly ordered her Anbu out. What do you know about Minato, brat? Instead of flat out answering, Naruto stood and made his way to the wall that had pictures of all of the Hokage in order from 1st to 5th. He stopped in front of the picture of the Yondaime and stood next to it looking out at Tsunade. I must be fucking retarded. How the fuck did I not see this? He gestured between himself and the picture. He looks just like me. Kami, I'm slow on the uptake. Tsunade sighed and rubbed her temple. How did you figure it out? We were going to tell you soon. Naruto chuckled. Iruka-sensei. He noticed her surprised look. Oh, come on, Bar-chan. He pointed out the window at the Hokage monument. It's been literally staring me in the face every day for 13 years. I had to get help to figure it out. I should be pissed off right now. But I'm not, and I don't know why. Tsunade sighed. You are angry, you're just repressing it. That's not healthy, Naruto. I think it's time I assign you a mission. You need to get out of town and take some of the edge off. I'll have something for you tomorrow. We can talk about this when Jiraiya gets back. He can answer all of your questions. I think you know that you can't tell people about this. Naruto shrugged. What else is new? I'm a walking secret. Am I leading or tagging along for this mission? Does it matter? Tsunade saw Naruto shake his head before she got an evil smirk on her face. Now I think the crime of assaulting an entire class of students warrants some kind of punishment. Don't you think, brat? Naruto's jaw dropped. Punishment. You punched me in the face and knocked my tooth out. What the hell are you going to do with me now? XXX 4 hours later. This is bullshit. Naruto yelled as he speared another piece of trash with his stick and placed it in his bag. I should be done by now, but you won't let me use any jutsu. Slightly out of his way, Shikamaru was laying on one of the hills that Naruto had cleared, keeping his eye on his fellow Chunin. Hokage-sama called me to oversee your D ranks for today and gave me explicit orders to make sure you didn't use any ninjutsu to help you complete the jobs faster. This is the last one for the day, so calm down, Naruto. Naruto angrily stalked over to more trash in the park. You're just alright with this because it's giving you the excuse to do nothing. You lazy bastard. Shikamaru yawned as he turned his attention to the clouds. Troublesome, just finish up so I can stop listening to your complaining. Between you and Ino, I can't tell who's worse right now. Naruto chuckled as he stabbed consecutive pieces of trash. You should take up drinking. It's done wonders for Bar-chan. I don't even bother her that much anymore. Sometimes she's totally lucid. You'd love it. As he returned to his work, he cursed again. I'm not even getting paid for this crap. Stupid kids that can't fight their way out of a wet paper bag. That Inuzuka kid dropped like a stone. I thought they were supposed to be good at taijutsu. Shikamaru raised an eyebrow. It was a class full of 7- and 8-year-olds. Naruto pointed his stick at Shikamaru. Don't make excuses for them. Naruto closed up the last bags and tossed them on the back of a cart. Okay, now that Hell Day is over, let's report so I can get hammered. Shikamaru stood up and the two started towards the Hokage Tower. You're 13, Naruto. We're too young to drink. Naruto flicked the Hittite on his belt. If I can spend all day doing minimum wage jobs and killing people for money, I have the right to use that money to purchase liquor. It comes with the status, Shikamaru. Troublesome. Shikamaru shook his head as they continued their walk to report into the mission table. XXX Naruto leaned on the counter of the weapons shop owned by Tenten's family while he waited for someone to appear to help him. Hello, Naruto. Naruto lifted his head to see Tenten entering the shop. Are you here for your sword? Naruto nodded and yawned. Yeah, what? Did you just get back from team training? Tenten nodded as she went behind the counter to talk with the scarred boy. Yep. Guy and Lee said they saw you painting a fence. Why are you doing D-ranked missions? You're a chunin now. Naruto smirked. I beat up a class full of kids at the academy and the Hokage made me do a ton of them. It was great while it lasted, they shouldn't have been talking shit. Naruto noticed a brown-haired man coming from the back wiping his hands off. So, Mr. Tenten's dad, how long do you need my sword for? I have a new mission to go on tomorrow, it's the broken ninjato. Tenten's father reached down behind the counter and picked up a wrap bundle before placing it on the countertop. You paid when you dropped it off, right? Naruto nodded and pulled out a written receipt. All right then, she's all yours, kid. Naruto grinned and picked up his sword, testing it out somewhat before sheathing it on his back. I missed this thing. Thanks a lot, sir, it's like it never even broke at all. Tenten's dad nodded and headed back to the back. Tenten pointed at Naruto chidingly as a smile came to her lips. Don't go breaking it again, Naruto. I don't want to see that thing back in here in pieces. Naruto scoffed. Yes you do, that's more money for your shop, girl. But yeah, it won't break anytime soon. I mean, how often will I come across a guy that can make an indestructible bone drill around his arm? After giving her a two-fingered salute, he headed out of the shop for home. XXX Naruto went to the only place that he knew there could be no one following him and once again traversed the terrain of the Forest of Death. Once he got himself inside and found a decent clearing, he bit his thumb and made his hand signs for a summoning. Who summoned me out here? As the massive plume of smoke cleared, it revealed Gamabunta looking down in front of him to see Naruto standing patiently. What do you need, kid? I told you not to summon me for dumb reasons. Naruto didn't flinch from the toad's booming voice. Gamabunta, I'll be straight with you since I know that you know who I really am. Tell me who it is that I look like. He saw Gamabunta almost drop his pipe from his mouth and nodded. That's what I thought. I knew you knew. Gamabunta sighed, letting out smoke from his mouth that covered Naruto. I knew it from the second I saw you, Gaki. I just felt it wasn't my place to say anything about it, and later when I confronted Jiraiya about it after you first summoned me and blacked out, he told me everything about it, even the seals. I mean, come on, kid, I worked with the man for years and then I end up seeing his chibified version sitting on my head 12 years later. I almost dropped us down that chasm we were stuck in. Naruto chuckled and lay back on the ground. So whose ass am I going to kick for this? Jiraiya's, I guess, and maybe Kakashi. Did Kakashi know? Gamabunta shrugged. Not sure, kid, but he was your old man's student, so it wouldn't be a stretch to say he did. But don't do anything rash. You aren't as dumb as I thought you were when we first met, so I know that you're fully aware of the reasons why it was kept from you. Naruto sighed and sat up. Yeah. The bullshit with Iwa and anyone else that Dad beat up on sending assassins after me, the politicians getting to me to do who knows what once they realized who I was, and all of that coupled with the resentment I would have gotten for being Konoha's Jinchuriki wouldn't have gone over too well for me. Man, I need a drink. A grin came onto Gamabunta's face. You remember what I said you had to do with me when you first summoned me? Naruto's eyes widened as a deep rumbling laugh came from Gamabunta. Resummon me in 15 minutes, Gaki. Let's see if you can hold your booze. XXX The next day, early the next morning, Naruto was laying on the couch in Tsunade's office with Shizune running green hands over his head. What did you do last night, Naruto-kun? Why does a 13-year-old need a hangover cure? Naruto groaned as the sound of Shizune's voice reverberated through his head like a sledgehammer. Shizune-nichan, there are some things that you don't need to know about, trust me. The next moment Tsunade walked through the door and stopped for a moment to stare at her hungover teenage chunin who had her apprentice fretting over him. Shrugging it off as early morning bullcrap, she sat down at her desk and pulled up the first piece of her daily paperwork. She looked up from her work with a quirked eyebrow. Brat, why is there a report on my desk claiming that there were sounds of Gamabunta singing drinking songs at the top of his lungs last night around training area 44? She looked back at the paper and narrowed her eyes. Also, they claim that in a clearing somewhere inside the forest there are around 37 giant spider corpses littering the field. Some were ripped apart, cut clean through, burned to a crisp, and squashed outright in giant webbed footprints with Mount Myoboku fire brand sake filling up some of the prints. Naruto shrugged and held his head. How do you know the brand? That's on here too. She pointed to the sheet of paper. Apparently there were around 12 human-sized containers strewn about the area. Naruto smirked to himself as he felt the soothing healing feeling from Shizune's jutsu. That's some good stuff, Gamabunta's awesome. Tsunade placed the sheet in the discard pile, shaking her head. I'm not even going to ask, why don't you have alcohol poisoning? Never mind, are you ready for the mission today, or do I have to throw you in jail for being drunk in public? Naruto shot up abruptly. Hey. I was not drunk in public. Shizune's sweat dropped. Naruto-kun, I found you blacked out on the top of the building this morning when I came in early. Naruto scoffed and stood in front of Tsunade's desk. Hey. I was getting drunk in the woods. Gamabunta threw me into public. I wanted to be drunk in the forest, which is perfectly legal. Arrest him. A sigh came from the elder blonde in the room as she motioned for Naruto to come and listen to her directions. This is B ranked. You're escorting a VIP to Kumogakure alongside a team of 2 other Chunin and 1 Junin. This should take a few weeks at the least and a few months at the longest due to the fact that there will be negotiations between our representative, who you will be traveling with, and the Kumo higher-ups. Naruto nodded, so this is just one of those, get experience, kind of things, right? He felt curious however, so who are we escorting and who do I have on my team? A frown came from the blonde Hokage. You know what? No, I'm not telling you this time. Get your little ass down to mission control to get your assignments. I shouldn't be handling this, I have people that actually get paid to be doing this instead of me. Naruto stood staring silently for a moment before simply turning around and leaving the office with not a word. Shizune looked at her mistress in a huff. Tsunade-sama, that was mean. Naruto-kun didn't do anything. Tsunade looked up from her work and glared slightly. Yes he did. The brat had 12 cases of firebrand sake and he didn't even invite me. How rude is that? XXX. After receiving his scroll detailing his mission, he made his way to the gate to meet his assembled team. By the time he arrived, he found 3 men waiting to depart alongside an elderly man. The first man had brown hair with one bang covering his right eye. He had his hitayate on in a bandana and wore the usual outfit for Konoha shinobi. Naruto knew this man as one of the Chunin that usually guarded the main gate of the village, Izumo Kamizuki. Nearby was his usual partner, Kotetsu Hagen. He had a bandage on his nose, wild spiky black hair and a goatee. He was also dressed in the usual garb of higher-up shinobi. The final escort out of them was Genma Shiranui, the man that Naruto remembered proctored the final stages of the Chunin exam before the invasion. He had brown hair that reached his neck, a bandana-style hitayate that he wore backwards, the standard ninja outfit, and a senbon in his mouth. The man they were to escort was an older man with gray hair, a beard, glasses and what appeared to be a perpetual frown on his features. Naruto knew this man as one of the Sandaime Hokage's teammates, Homura Mitokado. This was one of the 2 elders that Naruto didn't like. The old woman, Koharu Utatane, Naruto somewhat liked. She had something of a more group before one person mindset, but when he was an academy student visiting the Hokage, she at least treated him like a regular little kid. Back when he was en route, he remembered Danzo telling him when conversations would begin to revolve around him during council meetings, and in most of them Homura was biased against Naruto, which was weird since he usually sided with Danzo. However, when it came to anything involving Naruto, his mindset was to keep him weak. He was against him entering the academy after the sealing, he was against him graduating after the incident with Mizuki, and he could only imagine how he bitched about Naruto's promotion following the events after the Chunin exams. If ever there was a time for the emotionless mask he harnessed en route, he'd be damned if this wasn't one of those times. Hopefully he wouldn't have to speak to the old man. Naruto walked up to the only Junin out of the group, Genma, to report in. Chunin Naruto Uzumaki here for escort mission to Kumogakure. Genma turned a lazy glance to Naruto and smiled as he remembered exactly who it was. Good to see you again, kid. So you're the last member of my team, huh? The 2 elder Chunin smiled when they saw the young, scar-faced companion. They headed over to Genma and Naruto while Kotetsu waved to him. Hey Naruto. You're coming on this mission. Naruto let the emotion seep back into his eyes when he saw how casual the others were being with him. Yeah, I am. Are you 2 actually doing something other than watching the gate for once? When was the last time you 2 even had a mission outside? Kotetsu groaned as the bane of his existence, guard duty, was brought up. Don't remind me, kid. Izumo seems to think there's nothing wrong with gate watching, but I say to hell with it, I'd rather be in the field. Izumo sighed and shook his head. There's nothing wrong with that job, Kotetsu. We're protecting the citizens of Konoha, there isn't a more important job for us to have. He turned to smirk at Naruto. Maybe we'll get to see you cut loose on this mission. I know you were holding back during your test and nobody saw you beat those Oto ninja that almost killed Genma, so I'm curious as to how you fight. Genma stepped in to defend himself. Hey, it was 4-on-2. Rado and I were winning before they used their cursed seals. They didn't annihilate us or anything. Anyway, enough chatter, it's time to get on the road. He walked over to Homura. Elder Homura, my entire team has assembled. Are you prepared to leave? Homura's eyes panned across the amassed squad and he nodded to Genma. Yes, let's set out for Kumo. It should take us around 1 week to arrive. As they exited the main gate there was a carriage waiting that the elderly man sat inside with Genma seated in the driver's seat. Kotetsu took up position in the front of the vehicle while Naruto and Izumo went along the sides. The group of Chunin ran along in stride with the carriage as they made their way through the countryside. A little while into the trip Naruto let out an audible groan. Damn it, I never turned off all of the stuff in my house. I never went home last night. He immediately made a cage bunshin that went sprinting back the other way. Hours later the ninja surrounding the carriage started to converse with one another as they stopped for the night. Homura had long since had his tent set up and had retired for the evening. It was mostly Izumo and Kotetsu kicking old stories between them, but for Naruto it was a welcome change from the monotony of simple travel. Hey Izumo, do you remember back in the academy when we made those fudgesicles out of dog shit and one of the senseis ate one? The man in question snickered at the memory when he recalled who else was in attendance. Hey Naruto. How did you pull off painting the Hokage monument in broad daylight? You hadn't even graduated yet and you got past everyone and outrun all of the ninjas sent to chase you for like an hour. I guess I was subconsciously drawing on some of my training en route when I did that. Huh, I seem to have done that a lot. Naruto shrugged. I've done better things than that since then. You guys know about all of the stuff that happened the week before my test. Genma decided to speak up from his position on top of the carriage. Everybody remembers that. There wasn't anyone that knew somebody that got away untouched during that whole thing. Are you saying you did that stuff? Naruto grinned and chuckled. Well, when you put it like that it seems like you don't believe me. Kotetsu almost choked up. Wait, you did do that? How the hell did you go about doing that? Some people said it was probably you since you disappeared, but there were too many hits in too many places at one time for you to do it alone. Genma shook his head in good humor. And what exactly is the kid's specialty? Cage bunshin no jutsu. I heard he could make a ton of them, but something on that scale is ridiculous. Naruto waved it off. Oh, it was all in good fun. Everything I did didn't leave any major property damage and at the most required a few good minutes of work to remedy. Izumo chuckled. You seriously pissed off the Hyuga clan with that flashbomb stunt. That was truly priceless. Genma looked at the group of Chunin under his command. Naruto. We don't know too much about you except for the little bit of you we've seen, and I don't like going off of gossip, so why don't you tell us a little about yourself? Why did you want to be a ninja in the first place? Frowning slightly he thought about what he should say. Well, the reason I became a ninja shouldn't really be too surprising considering how I used to be. He scratched his head. I guess I can tell you that. You know how you would always hear some loud kid shouting about being Hokage? Well, I wasn't always like that. As a matter of fact, I didn't give a damn about being Hokage until then. I wanted to be a ninja before that though. The reason was because I just wanted to be acknowledged for something. He looked around at everyone that was with him. I know you all know about what I carry, and I know you've all at least heard a smattering of remarks about me that aren't too positive. Well, when I was a kid I didn't know why people treated me so badly, but I saw the ninja of this village, and everyone held them in such high regard, and I wanted that. Now I realize how childish that was, but I never regretted anything. I mean, how boring would my life be if I wasn't a ninja, and what else could I have possibly done except be a shinobi of Konoha? I'm its Jinchuriki. What, was I going to be a shopkeeper or something? A round of laughs from the adults around him loosened him up a bit when Izumo voiced his own question. Hey, actually I want to know, what's it like holding the Kyuubi? I just couldn't imagine something like that being inside me. Naruto looked up at the night sky as he thought about an answer. Well, aside from the glares, people pulling their kids away from you on the playground and all of that jazz, it's not really bad. Eyes widened all around when Kotetsu spoke for the group. Really? Naruto nodded. Yeah, I mean, since I've learned about it, there are times when Kyuubi just won't shut the hell up about stuff, but other than that little negative aspect, there isn't really anything negative that I can think of. I can use chakra 3 times as potent as human chakra whenever I need to. It's damn near impossible to kill me without a one-shot one-kill maneuver to finish me off with. I heal ridiculously fast from just about everything, and the Kyuubi is a decent source for a different point of view while in combat. If it weren't for all of the village stuff that I have to deal with on a regular basis, I would say that it's pretty cool. The group sat in silent contemplation until a scowl came across Naruto's face. My Kage Bunshin is an asshole. What was the general reaction to such a random statement from around the campsite? Naruto pinched the bridge of his nose and shook his head. You know how I sent that clone off to make sure all of my things were turned off at home and everything? Well, he didn't dispel after he finished his job. As a matter of fact, he spent the entire day doing random shit in my name. Flashback. Naruto's Bunshin grumbled as he locked the door to Naruto's apartment after checking the entire house for anything still turned on. That was a total waste of time and effort. There wasn't anything running up my electric bill in there. He looked at himself and was about to dispel until he heard a bark and saw Kiba running up to him, Akamaru in tow, with a massive grin on his face. Naruto, oh man, I just heard about what you did yesterday at the academy. I want to shake your hand. After grabbing Naruto clone firmly in a handshake, Kiba gestured to go somewhere. Come on, let's get something to eat, I'm starving. Now being a Kage Bunshin, they're only ever treated as the original by mistake. Despite the fact that they are the byproduct of chakra manipulation, they still think after they are made even after they complete their orders, and the original never ordered this clone to dispel after completion of his task, and he just so happened to be looking at a golden opportunity for a Kage Bunshin. Clapping Kiba on the shoulder, a grin came to his face. Sure Kiba, let's go. Ichiraku's is cool with you, isn't it? XXX. 1 hour later, Kiba and Akamaru looked on in awe as they saw Naruto clone put away another bowl of ramen, bringing his total of bowls consumed to a whopping 26. Kiba had only gotten 2 for himself and a plate of meat for Akamaru. Dude, where are you putting all of that? You should have puked about 10 bowls ago. Naruto polished off another bowl and smirked at the Inuzuka. My metabolism is absurd. He quickly received another bowl and dove right in. Kiba had paid off his check for his own food 30 minutes ago, but found himself unable to leave as he watched Naruto scarf down insane amounts of noodles and broth one bowl after another. You know I wasn't going to pay for your food too, right? After finishing off the broth yet again, he nodded. Oh yeah, I've got that handled. Turning his attention to the chef of his favorite meal, clone Naruto spoke up. Hey Tsukiyoji. Put this meal on my tab. I'm going on a B rank mission, so I'll be able to pay it off easily once I get back in the village. Tsuki turned to the clone and nodded. You've got it, Naruto. As long as you pay me, it's okay. Naruto grinned and gave him a thumbs up. Don't worry, I promise I'll pay. And I never go back on my word, old man. XXX. In Iruka's classroom, the kids were silently taking notes on his lecture. He was amazed. In all the years he had been teaching, he had never had a class completely attentive before. But here 100% of the class was quiet and writing. He figured Naruto must have given them all shell shock yesterday. Iruka's attention was broken when the slide of a door opened up and he heard a collective gasp go up among the students, most with looks of horror on their faces. Iruka turned to see the grinning face of Naruto. Naruto, what are you doing here? You're lucky no one's parents put a restraining order on you yet. Naruto clone's grin only got wider. Well, Iruka-sensei, I felt something was missing yesterday, so, he turned his attention to the same little Inuzuka boy from yesterday. I brought my sword. The kids all eyed any exit they thought would allow them to escape quickly enough when the sound of metal sliding from a sheath rang out. Suddenly all eyes turned to Naruto clone. I haven't even tested it out since I got it back. Who wants to help me? Last person in the classroom volunteers. In a rush of little feet, shouting, and piling through entrances, the room cleared of all life except Naruto and Iruka. Iruka simply palmed his forehead and sighed. You enjoy yourself. Naruto clone nodded in satisfaction. Yeah, I guess that will do. Catch you later, Iruka-sensei. With that he shunshined out of the classroom. XXX. Tsunade was returning to her office following her lunch break. Not really looking forward to continuing her monotonous business of reading and signing paperwork, she was looking forward to Shizun's post-lunch slump. Shizun normally would prevent Tsunade from even getting near a sip of sake during the day, apparently able to smell it out like a bloodhound, but the blonde with ample cleavage had deduced that there was a lull in her dark-haired apprentice's alertness for a 10-minute span following lunch every day. Smiling to herself as she took a seat behind her desk, she reached into a drawer for her workplace stash. Pulling up the containers of alcohol, she noticed they felt extremely light. Attempting to pour some straight into her mouth, she caught not a drop from either bottle. As she angrily chucked the empty sake bottles across the room, she looked inside the drawer to find a note scribbled out hastily. Hey Bar-chan. Did you know you had 2 bottles of sake in your desk? Don't worry, I took care of it for you. It may be an inebriating beverage, but man does it hit the spot. But such a drink isn't becoming of a Hokage on the job, therefore I did you a favor and downed the whole thing for you, both of them. No need to thank me. The knowledge of a job well done and the fact that you can now work without being tempted by the deliciousness that was your formerly full bottles of sake is all the acknowledgement I need. Love, Naruto Uzumaki. P.S. Your Anbu are ridiculously easy to distract, did you know that? Tsunade crumpled up the note and radiated killing intent so strong the civilians walking outside the tower started sweating from it. Goddamn you brat. Flashback end, and then my clone spent the rest of his existence drunk dialing random numbers on the phone back at home, throwing firecrackers at Guy and Lee while they were training, and getting kicked out of a general store for trying to play the drums that were set up on display. I don't think I can go back into that store anymore, but, yeah, the clone got a wild hair up his ass and thought that he still had beef with the spiders in the forest of death, so he went in there yelling and challenging them to a duel, and then he died. Silence reigned over the camp until all of the men busted out laughing. Even the Kyuubi, who had seen everything the clone had done after it dispelled, was laughing. Naruto waited for the laughter to die down. How the hell do I know all of that? All humor vanished at his question as Genma answered him, you mean you don't know? Anything your Kage Bunshin does comes back to you in memory. You honestly never realized that before? Naruto shook his head and Genma nodded. Yeah, they say that it's a cool way to train, because anything your clone learns you will get back when you dispel it. It all goes into your head. No one uses it though, because no one, even most Junin, can use any more than 1 to 3 of them safely. Hey kid, how many can you make? Upwards of 1,000. Ah. Naruto blinked. Wait a goddamn minute, I could have been getting my Mega Train on since the day I became a genin and I'm just now learning this. Who else knew about this? Kotetsu raised his hand. I knew. Kakashi told me a few years ago when I ran into him on a training field. Naruto fumed. Kakashi knew. Kakashi knew and he didn't fucking tell me. He was my damn sensei for a year and he couldn't even tell me that. I'm going to kick his ass when we get back to Konoha for that. Naruto stood up and stomped off into the distance. Genma, being the squad leader, had to ask where he was going. Hey Naruto, where are you going? Naruto didn't even turn his head when he yelled back, anger management. The men all shrugged and prepared to settle in for the night. The majority of the evening you could hear explosions and sounds of metal clashing out in the distance. That will be it for this video. If you want more, comment down below, like, subscribe. And see you guys later.